Alright, welcome back. A quick little news of the day video for you guys. This is going to be my only post of the day. I know I've been double uploading a lot, but as we have now passed the roster locking date, things have started to wind down a little bit, not as much going on, so I'm going to be sticking to single news of the day videos every single day when it's necessary, starting to get back into some of my old content that I was making before we got into this period, while still doing news videos if necessary, if some stories come up or whatnot. And before I get into it, I just want to mention that as soon as this video goes live, I'm going to be live on Twitch. I Twitch stream at 5 p.m. roughly Eastern time every single Tuesday, and I just play some fun pubs, sometimes with friends. It's just a fun, chill stream. If you want to check it out, feel free to. Again, 5 p.m. Eastern time every single Tuesday. So, starting off this video, Talon Esports, and again, this is not something that I usually cover. However, because of Talon Esports and the amount of star power they have in their roster and the fact that they found themselves in an open qualifier because it's a new big organization, there's a lot of hype around this team. I figured I'd give you guys a little bit of an update on how the open qualifiers are going for them. So for the Southeast Asian DPC, there are 3 slots out for grabs, and I'll get into why there's 3 as opposed to 2. Which means there's 3 open qualifiers. 1 team makes it through each one. Talon Esports finished top 4 in the first one before losing. I believe they lost to Team Ragdoll, which is the team that ended up making it through. And now they find themselves in the top 4 once again in the second open qualifiers. And the semifinals and finals take place tonight at usually around 1 a.m. Eastern time from what I can tell. And so they're going to have tonight to see if they end up making it. And if not, they might have themselves a third chance with that third open qualifier now because there is a third slot. And there is a third slot because Omega Esports, an upper division team in Southeast Asia, a team that finished top 2 in the first season in the lower division, has been banned by the likes of, by the means of match fixing, as well as their entire roster that was partaking in it. So, because of this, they are no longer to participate in any sort of Valve-related tournament, so they have been kicked out of the DPC, which means there's an upper bracket slot remaining, which has now been taken by Boom. Boom, of course, was supposed to be going to the lower division, but now that there's a slot open, they are the 7th place finishers of last season, so they're getting bumped up, and they're back in that upper division. So I'm sure they're a little bit fortunate about this. Very unfortunate news when it comes to just the sake of the game and stuff. You never really want to see match fixing. It's kind of it's really annoying. It takes away from the competitive aspect a little bit. So it's good to see that they're getting booted. I'm glad that they got caught because, again, you hate to see match fixing a little bit. Boom, kind of fortunate about this. One thing that is a little bit unfortunate, and that's for Execration, another upper division team. They had actually picked up one of these players that was on their roster for this upcoming season, and now that he's banned, they're going to have to fill that slot. Now, they do have until Sunday, so they have a few days to do that. But again, kind of an inconvenience for them. And another inconvenience is Forev. Forev was actually on this Omega team only for a few days, so he wasn't actually on the team when they were doing this match fixing scandal. He got picked up by them, was looking to finally get back into the DPC after taking pretty much a year away from the DPC. He hadn't partaken in it. He finally gets himself back onto a tier 1 team, and then the whole team and the organization ended up banned. So pretty unfortunate for Forev. Again, he was only on the team for like 3 days, and then the whole thing got banned. So yeah. And none of these guys actually partook in the last DPC on Omega Esports. It was a completely different roster in Season 2 of the DPC. These guys have been signed on Omega since around August, which was after the qualifiers, but before the roster locking period. So, they're all gone. And again, if they were actually match fixing, which it seems like they were since Valve banned them, and they wouldn't have fully banned them if there wasn't sufficient evidence. It's glad to see that they're all gone. So, unfortunate circumstances for Execration and Forev, but pretty fortunate for Boom. So, and next up, moving now to Western Europe, we have Team Creepwave, who has been picked up by the organization Entity Gaming. So, of course, Creepwave played under their own name back in Season 1 of the DPC. They then got signed by Into the Breach for Season 2. They did pretty okay, didn't finish top 2, didn't finish bottom 2, kind of middle of the pack. And then Into the Breach and the stack kind of parted ways. Into the Breach has now signed a new stack. They are now partaking with a different team. And Creepwave was supposed to go into this season as Creepwave once again. However, because they got signed, they're going to be competing under the name Entity Gaming. Just generally a nice thing to see. Creepwave is a team that I think is pretty underrated. They just haven't exactly had the best results. I think they underperform quite often. But again, kind of nice to see that they're getting signed, as it's always a nice thing to have an organization supporting you financially there. And last little bit of news, and this is not something I usually include, nor do I think that many people will be as familiar with. As someone who was watching a ton of Dota for the past, for a long time now, but specifically this past year, I came to be very familiar with a a lot of the Dota talent in a bunch of different regions and became really big fans of a lot of them, and noticed how just rich Dota's talent lineup is, at least for the English side, because I can't really speak for any other languages or any other casts, as I only watch Dota in English. But Dota has a lot of amazing talent, and one of my favorites from this past year has been Bkop. He's been one of the talent members covering the Southeast Asian and Chinese region, and he was someone that I really loved watching because he really knew his stuff when it came to the region. And it's really sad to see that he's not going to be partaking in this first tour of the DPC because he just wasn't hired by anyone. I've been following him on Twitter. He's been trying to pump out his resume, trying to get signed into this DPC year, and no one has reached out to them. So it's kind of unfortunate, as I think he was one of the best, not only of his region, but in the entire scene. And he tried to get himself hired, and he just couldn't get back into the DPC, which is really unfortunate. Again, I was a big fan of him, and I'm really hoping that he makes it back into the DPC one way or another for the next tour, if that's how long it has to be before he comes back, because again, he was one of my favorites and he did a fantastic job. So again, sorry, not usually a topic I usually cover, but I just thought that the more awareness there is for this, the better, just because, again, a really underrated talent that was snuffed for in TI, at least in my opinion. He didn't get invited to TI, which I was really bummed out about. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. Again, this is my only video today. If you're at all curious in checking out the Twitch stream, I'm going to be having immediately after this, link in description, as well as all my sources. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow or on my Twitch stream tomorrow with another video.